3 reasons why the Profit First system will not work for your business. As I've been talking about Profit First more and helping women to implement this in their business, I've been hearing it's like, well, that won't work for me, for my business. That doesn't work in my niche. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's like, that's a mindset. We're breaking down that axiom of this is how it's been done for generations. Why would I want to do it any different? But in reality, I'm going to show you why it hasn't worked for generations. So my name is Heidi Muma. I'm one of the co-founders here inside of Truth Bomb Academy, where we are helping women to become more millionaires. We want to see more women succeed in their business without the overwhelm, without the burnout. And when you're taking profit, believe me, it reduces the overwhelm, it reduces the burnout. It actually helps you to have fun and joy in your business. Why won't this system work for your business? Reason number 1, the axiom about how it has been done this way for generations and generations. We have GAAP. We have the generally accepted accounting principles. It works. We take our sales, we subtract our expenses, and what's left over is our profits. Well, how often do you get to the end of the year and your accountant shows you your profits and you're like, oh, where is it? Well, silly you, silly us. That is the accounting profit. It's not your real profit. That's because we've spent it all. We looked at that bank account. We're like, oh, I can buy that. There's still money in the bank. And ladies, let me tell you, there is 180 billion small businesses in the world. Billion. And they consider small business anything that has $25 million in yearly revenue or less. Well, that doesn't sound pretty small to me, but that's what they consider a small business. The reality is 83% of those businesses are running paycheck to paycheck. They have nothing in reserve. They are just running. It's like they're going after that next sale because they have this bill to pay. The money comes in, the money goes out. That's not really sustainable. It's not fun. So if 83% of the businesses are running paycheck to paycheck, why do we consider the generally accepted accounting principles the way to run our business? Why is that? That works for accountants. It doesn't work for you. When you're implementing the Profit First system, you're actually implementing your bank account cash management system. Our natural behavior is to consume everything that's in front of us. If you think about your plate of food, you have a large plate of food and you put a large amount of food on it and you eat a large amount of food. But if you use a smaller plate, you can still fill that plate and eat the whole plate of food, but you're eating a smaller amount. And it's like, and you're still content. You're still, because you consumed the whole plate. But it's a smaller plate. And it's the same thing that works for your finances. When you're working off smaller plates, you're working off a smaller jar of that money. You're working off that one account out of the 5. You actually will be more creative, more innovative. This is how a lot of new ideas and new inventions come about, because people got innovative, people got creative. And when you reduce that creativity, we reduce the new things that we have in our world. So instead of working off of a system that goes against our natural behavior, we actually work with a system that works with our natural behavior. Now, there are some people that are extremely disciplined and can minimize and can work off of a spreadsheet. Fantastic. Keep doing it. But for most of us, that doesn't work. And it's all about working with our behavior instead of working against our natural behavior. So number 1, just because it's worked for generation and generation and that's been the thought process doesn't mean it has to continue. Just remember, once upon a time we thought the world was flat. So number 2, my accountant says not to bother. My accountant says you don't need those extra accounts. My accountant says that's too much work. Well, that's bullcrap. First of all, when you actually separate it into different accounts, I've done the bookkeeping, ladies. It actually makes it easier because mistakes happen, right? Mistakes in our books happen. It's much easier to find it in a smaller account than it is if all of your transactions are running through one account. So that to me is a bonus. And honestly, when my accountant tells me something isn't going to work, 1, I think, okay, maybe I need to look more into this. 2, maybe I just need to educate my accountant. They are traditionally trained, which is fantastic. But if they've been doing this for years and years and years and years in the same way, they're going to continue to do it the same way, years and years and years. But there are accountants who actually embrace the profit first mentality, the profit first system. I want an accountant who wants to work with me, not against me. I want an accountant who understands and thinks outside the box, because they're also going to be looking out for those different ways that you can save on taxes, because it takes creativity for doing an entrepreneur's tax return or doing an entrepreneur's bookkeeping. It does take thinking outside the box, and sometimes not always doing everything that's always been done. And it's like, you wonder why, like, there's these businesses that never pay taxes. And it's like, because the business doesn't pay taxes. The individuals pay taxes, but the businesses don't have to. And that's the beauty of owning your business. Sometimes you have to get creative to understand what those different resources are. And it's like, that's why personal development, professional development is so crucial when you are an entrepreneur, to keep educating yourself around those things. The third reason why I hear people say the profit first system won't work for me is because, oh my gosh, five bank accounts, banks charge fees. They have minimum balances. And I've heard this and I understand this because I've been with banks that have charged fees and have required minimum balances. Credit unions, small local banks are more willing to work with you than some of the larger banks. Sometimes you can ask them to waive the fees, waive the minimum balances, say, I really want to do business with you. Can we waive that fee? Some of them will work with you, some of them won't, and that's okay. Here in Truth Bomb Academy, we've partnered with a bank called Relay, and it's an online bank, and it's actually one of my favorite things is you can open the bank account before you're even ready to start business. Like, if you haven't actually taken any sales yet, but you're ready, you want to get it all set up, open the bank account with a zero balance. There's no minimum balance, and there's no fees. It's a fantastic place to get started. And also, my favorite things is automated. Ladies, we want to cut down the overwhelm. We want to cut down those extra tasks that we have to do. When you can go in there and you can open up those bank accounts, and you can open up, if you're a sole proprietor, you can open up to 10 bank accounts. If you're an LLC or any kind of incorporated, you can open up to 20 bank accounts for free. 20 checking accounts and 2 savings accounts. That's pretty fantastic to me. I love separating the money into small plates so that I know what the money is going to. Because if you don't tell your money where to go, it just kind of goes and wanders off in different places. It's kind of weird that way. So that is why I love Relay Bank. And talking about opening up 5 bank accounts and having fees, there's none of that. Here inside Truth Bomb Academy, we are actually changing the conversation around how you build your business, because the axiom of it's been done this way for generations and generations. Women, we've discovered it doesn't work for women. It does work. And for those individuals that it works for, kudos to you. High five. I love it. But I've heard the story of women, they're overwhelmed and they're burned out. We want to end that scenario. We want more women becoming millionaires. If you haven't already, check out our premier product called Unlocking My Millions, where you can unlock all your $1 million ideas. Unlock the impact that you can have with those ideas. Ladies, you want to check it out. The link is down below in our description. And if you've been feeling burned out, if you've been like, I'm not sure if I can keep on going, I want you to check the video that's blinking up above. Chef Katrina is talking about how to manage burnout as a female entrepreneur. Go ahead, check it out now.